Hey guys, I'm hoping on this very, very snowy day in Valparaiso, Indiana, that my reception will be okay. um, so welcome. It's Bethany Drew here with Stampin' Up in Valparaiso. Yes, the Vale of Paradise. And if I scroll around this way, you'll see a wintry wonderland out the window. And I think my husband just finished snow plowing our driveway, so hopefully it won't be so noisy. And the boys have been outside almost all day, but I just made pancakes for the boys for a late lunch, and they're finishing up eating right now. So there might be some extra noise that we're not used to on most Wednesdays because the boys are all home from school. They've been having fun in the snow. I think we've gotten maybe 7 or 8 inches so far, and it's still coming down. So and I said I was going to give myself all day to play, but I still did load the dishwasher and washed most of our dishes. So I did clean up in the kitchen a bit. But then I played. And so I'm so excited to show you today the new Abstract Beauty Suite. It's an awesome suite, but I am going to show you, a few of you requested when I showed a card that I show you how to do the alcohol ink technique. It can be a little bit tricky, but it can be really fun if you don't have high expectations, because it's gonna look different every time when you do it. So I'm gonna have fun showing you a little bit of how we can use your blends markers with our vellum, and you do have to have the right kind of alcohol too. So we'll talk about that as well as I play with those things. But the whole Abstract Beauty Suite is really cute. I love all the dies. Again, Stampin' Up, I just feel like you can't beat their coordination with everything in all the colors and the bright colors. They're awesome. And it's already February. Oh my goodness, how did this happen? So happy Groundhog's Day. He did see a shadow, so we've got 6 more weeks of winter, which, is that a shocker for anyone? Hey Sherry. Yeah, did that shock anybody? I don't think so. We expect more winter here in Indiana. So my boys are super excited to have a snow day, and I gave myself a little bit more playtime than normal, but I still did do some adulting. So if you do come along, say hello. So Sherry, I'm glad that you joined me. I hope I see a few more of my friends, and if you catch the replay, I'm so glad that you're here. It is celebration time too, so February is the very last month. We only do it 2 months because we did it 2 months in the summer. And so it's the last month to earn free stuff with every $50 in your order. So this is just an awesome time to place an order, because then you get more free cool stuff. And there's some really cute things in celebration brochure this year. So, hey Teresa. So let's have some fun, shall we? I hope that maybe some of you are watching in your craft rooms, and maybe you're crafting while you watch me. That would be even more fun. So let me turn around and we'll make some cards with this new suite. Yeah. Get that balanced. All right. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by the Abstract Beauty Suite. So on page 48 of our catalog, if you love everything that coordinates together, so everything that I'm going to show you on the next page, there is one great number, and it's only $81 for this suite. The number for the whole suite, if you love everything. I love that they've done this now, because it's just nice and easy to put one number. 158052 is the number for the suite, if you love everything. And I did, so I did get it all. Because what comes with the suite, and again for $80, I just think it's an awesome deal, because you get a stamp set with a ton of different sayings and little shapes, which I'll show you how to make an easy card, using some of these just fun little shapes. I love all the different sayings that you get with it too. A lot of them are pretty versatile. And then you get these great, I got this bundle mostly for all of these shapes, because you get some circle dies, the hexagons I love, and some that will cut out kind of oblong different shapes. So they're just fun. You get these adhesive backed hexagons. You get some cards and fun. All 10 envelopes are different and designer, which is cool. Hey, Chris. Yes, it is a beautiful snowy day. And I love that all my boys, I had a couple hours of quiet actually because they were outside for so long. So that makes it even more fun for me. Then this whole section is a little Abstract Beauty Ephemera Pack. So there's 60 pre-cut pieces that are just die cut, pop out. Some of them are gold foil, so you can add them to your cards to make really easy, simple cards. And I love this 4x6 paper. So this is great if you're a scrapbooker too, but you don't have to be a scrapbooker. But the 4x6 paper is a super size for all of our like divided pages for scrapbooking too. And they're great colors. So let me show you those kind of close up too. So I've already used some of the papers, but these designs are so cute. I love all the different colors. There's some that are just black, white, and gold. The like Night of Navy and gold, pink, black, and gray. They really are just fun colors. So this one side, I think almost all of them has a little bit of gold foil in them. Just polka dots, flowery. And then the other side of all of those has a little bit more just different designs. Some of them look kind of like painted speckles, some stripes, black and white stripes, different patterns and designs, black and white polka dots, some kind of watercolored looks, striped and kind of ombre. So you just can't go wrong with more designer paper. I love them. And this is all the colors that coordinate with. It always tells you what colors go with all the paper. So you've got Magenta Madness, Blushing Bride, Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry. You could get Bumblebee in there too. Just Jade and Night of Navy. And then here's the ephemera, I can't say that. The Abstract Beauty Ephemera Pack that has all the little gold foil pieces, these popped out die cut pieces that just pop right out. So super easy to make some really easy cards that could really go well with then these 10 cards and envelopes that already have either some kind of watercolor background on them. Really pretty. They're all different. Just using some of the basic colors. And then look at these envelopes. They're so fun. Polka dots. So really you can mix and match. You don't have to go with the same patterns or anything either. They're just so much fun. So much good stuff in these. If I have time, I'll put together a simple card there using that stuff. Those die cut pieces. And then here's the adhesive backed hexagons too, in black, the Blushing Bride, and Just Jade, which are fun little accents. So that is Abstract Beauty, one of the new suites. Again, it's on page 48 and 49 of our January through June catalog. And it's just such a fun suite. All right, now I am going to show you some alcohol ink technique. I thought it went well, and I've paired all the cards that I've made with the stamp set from this Abstract Beauty. Actually, it's Abstract Beauty Suite, but the stamp set that goes with it's called Hello Beautiful. So I've used mostly those. So this one says Hello Beautiful. And these pieces that were cut were actually right from underneath here. So that was a whole piece, and then I just cut them. This one I just cut a little strip off and put some space in between it where I stamped Hello Beautiful right onto a white card. So super easy. This one I stepped up and added onto some a white piece that I embossed with an embossing folder. And then First of All, You're Amazing. But when you use the alcohol ink technique, it's gonna look different every time you do it. It really will. And so I'll show you, this is kind of the first basic, like if you don't care what it looks like, it's just, you're blending a bunch of colors together. There's a technique where you could almost make it look like it's flowers. But again, like that one turned out a little better than that one, but that's okay. It's still just fun to mix and match these colors. I will also show you blending the colors and then adding it onto our dimensional sheets to make those pop a little bit. If you can see the dimension on those hexagons and then on my hearts, I put that directly onto dimension sheets, which gives it a little bit of pop. And then there's also a technique where if you're trying to make little rosettes and make it look like roses, it takes a little bit more, I don't want to say discipline, but this can get away from you and then it doesn't look like roses either. So I'm going to show you a few different ways to use that alcohol technique, but it's fun how you can pair it with this Abstract Beauty Suite. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just show you kind of basic. So this one I used yellow, I think a Poppy Parade, and then a pink color. I think it's Polished Pink. So Daffodil Delight, one of our reds, and then Polished Pink are the colors I used. They will look different every time. Here I'll show you two different sheets that I did. This one I used, I think this one I used Magenta Madness, Daffodil Delight, and Just Jade. This one I used Bermuda Bay, Mango Melody, and Poppy Parade. And every time you do, like this one, I blended it all and I let it dry a little bit, and then I actually added a little bit more drops of the alcohol. And when the alcohol drips on the blends markers, it lights it up, it takes away some of the color. And so that's why I've got these little bit more spotted blurbs on here. Okay, so again, every time you do this alcohol technique, it's gonna look a little bit different. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, and I'll use kind of some of, I think I got these colors together, and I'll show you how I did that. Okay, now one thing, this is vellum cardstock or vellum paper, so you do want to get vellum paper. It works the best with the blends. And then I've seen different videos with different like special tools, but I'm just using Stampin' Up's. Now we have these the water painters. Okay, so it just looks a little bit different. It's kind of the same. Although I'll remind you again, I reminded you guys a long time ago that these are new water painters actually spin the opposite way that most people want to spin things. I don't know why they made them like that, but they do. So the way that you want to screw a lid on and off, it goes the opposite, the new water painters. So I used one of my old aqua painters, so it's kind of the same thing, and I added alcohol in it. Now I want to remind you, I got a whole box of these from Amazon. So you can get this alcohol. You want them at least 90% isopropyl alcohol. So this does make a difference. I tried to do this technique just using some alcohol that I had around, and I think it was like 75 or 80% alcohol, and it did not work at all. So, I mean, it got really blurry. So you want to make sure you have at least 90%. This one's 99% isopropyl alcohol. That's the kind of alcohol you want. It has to be higher than 90% in order for it to work well. Okay, so this one I'm showing you is kind of the easiest technique, because this is where you don't care how it looks. You're gonna just scribble down your blends wherever you want. So I'm gonna start with, this is the light Bermuda Bay. I'm not doing any patterns. I'll just do all the Bermuda Bay at once. I'm not thinking about doing circles. I might just do circles since I just said circle. I'll do a little bit, let's see, what this is light Calypso Coral. That's what it is. Light Calypso Coral. This is the Dark Poppy Parade. So I'm using my bigger, wider tip. And again, with this, you don't need to do it in any pattern or anything. It's just random. Let's put some over here. And a little yellow in here. Okay, so that's 4 colors. Let's see. And this is the Dark Mango Melody, so it's an orange yellow. Okay. Okay, so all I've done is just scribble with my blends markers. So these are alcohol based, and that's why we use alcohol with it. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my aqua painter that's got alcohol already in the handle. Again, it's gotta be higher than 90%. And I'm gonna kind of do one color at a time. So I'm gonna start with the lighter color. And this is where you can do it all different ways. So I'm squeezing the handle and I'm just putting it down in blobs, okay? And right off the bat, I'm kind of going around the outside of it, outside edge of the color. So I'm doing the lighter colors first. So I'm doing that light Calypso Coral. I'm getting my yellows. And here it's getting into the other colors. That's fine. Let's see. Now I'm going into the blue. So the Bermuda Bay. And I'm kind of just dropping, I'm letting it kind of just pool and drop in colors, or in drops of the alcohol. This can get pretty wet. It really is okay. Now anywhere that you drop the alcohol, it resists those blends markers because they are alcohol based. It kind of lightens the alcohol, okay? Now this is where you could just let it dry like this. Isn't that fun? You can blow it a little if you want it to shift and bleed into the other colors. You could let it run if you want. So here I'll let it run down. I didn't let my other one run, but I'll just show you. Let me put a little bit more there. I'm gonna let it run down a little bit. And that will actually change the way it looks too, if you let it bleed and run down. Because then it's gonna bleed into some of those other colors. So you see the blue into the yellow, it's gonna make a little bit of a green. You're gonna get a little bit more orange color. So since I was letting it run down, I'm gonna blow. You could also use your heat tool to let it draw or dry. Some people like, yes, Becky, I just saw your comment that straw works. I will show you how to use a straw to blow it in the direction that you want it. So there I let it bleed down a little bit. Where this I did the same thing with, but I didn't let it go down. I just let it dry directly, and I dropped those spots on there after it dried, and it makes it lighter. And this is where, after this is pretty much dried, I could still, I'll show you, if you like those spotty look, those little droplets, after you've let it dry, drop a few little drops in a couple places. I didn't even get that. There, and you see that? When I just dropped a few of those drops, that gives it that spotty, droppy look. Hey, Laura. Yes, happy snow day. My boys were pretty excited last night when we got the call. So you see how I let it bleed down, let it dry, but then if you drop little spots on top, it's still making that alcohol lighter, okay? Again, I'm using, Stampin' Up! Has now what's called our water painters, where you just open up the handle, and I just put, so almost all of them have water in the handle for watercoloring. This is an older one, so this looks a little bit different, but it's the same concept. It's a glorified water brush is what it is. And the alcohol is just in the handle. So when I squeeze the handle, it just kind of comes out of my water brush, if you can see that. Okay? But yeah, isn't that fun? It's so much fun. So every time, so these are the same colors that I used just here. Same colors. Every time it's going to look just a little bit different depending on how much, you know, where you put your color, how much color you use, and then how much alcohol you use. Here's one that I didn't do any spots to. I just let it bleed, and I didn't add any more spots after it dried. So it's not, it doesn't have that spotted look, okay? So many fun different things you can do with this. So this I would say is the easiest way to do it, when you just blend a few colors, and you don't care how it looks because you're just using it for background. So that is where you can go back and cut it into strips. You do want it on top of, it looks, to me, it looks best over white paper because it really brings out all those colors. This is directly on thick white cardstock, and I just cut it in 2 pieces, right? So these are just different colors. I had another card. Where did I put that one? Example. Here we go. Here's one that I layered on top of, and then popped up and cut into 3 pieces. And I had, I think that was a peacock color, green, Calypso Coral, and the Mango Melody. So the patterns look so cool, and they look different every time. It is really fun. And then you can cut it in different ways and just add a saying over it, and really, it's a pretty easy way to make a card when you use that technique. See, isn't that fun? And this, first of all, You're Amazing, is a stamp from that Hello Beautiful. All right, now I'm gonna show you a little bit, I don't wanna say complicated, but it's a little bit stepped up way to use. And I'm gonna use a smaller piece that maybe I could actually mat and put on the front of a card. But I'm gonna make a couple flowers. And this is where I'll show you using a straw. Again, you could also use your heat tool to dry it if you want it to blow it in certain directions. But with these flowers, I'm gonna do 2 flowers. I'm using my black blend marker, and this is the dark black. Then I'm using the dark Magenta Madness, and I'm doing a circle right around the black. So this is where you'll see with the straw, you can have a little bit more like direct where you want to blow, where that ink is gonna go. And now I'm gonna do a little yellow on the outside. So I'm just doing big circles. Black first, then some kind of pink. So you could use different colors, but the black of the center you'll see is kind of fun. And this is Daffodil Delight, I think, yes. The dark Daffodil Delight. I'm kind of trying not to blend the colors yet, even though I did get it a little bit into the pink, that's all right. All right. So now they just look like big circles, right? Now that I'm thinking, I probably should have just done one at a time because that's going to bleed into there, but we'll be okay. All right. So now this is where I say this is a little bit stepped up because now I'm just going to do one blob at a time of the alcohol. So I'm going to let that go. One blob at a time. And see, as I'm blowing out, it kind of looks like petals. So you see how those colors bleed together as I'm blowing? And it's a pretty fun technique. Now I'm going to go right in between where I just went in all those spots in between. See, and it always looks a little different. Now I'm going to start in this one. Now I'm going to drop my drop a little bit further out. I'm dropping it now in the light pink part. Now I don't want that dark to spread too far, so I'm blowing it back in. Isn't that fun? Again, it looks different every time. So a straw is like if you want more direct control of where you're gonna blow it. And see, it kind of looks like two big fun flowers, but it's abstract because you just use the alcohol ink technique. Okay, so, and it's okay that it turns out different. Now look how different that looks. And I used pretty much the same colors, but I think I used a little less black, and that, I think I used more pink this time. I used a thinner circle of pink where I used more pink in this one. Right, so it doesn't take too long to dry even without a heat tool, but you don't want to bleed it or touch it right away. But isn't that fun? So many different ways you can use this alcohol technique. And then I could just mat this. and put it on. And here's to show you if I actually just put it directly on pink. It deepens the colors a little bit. You still see those colors. But this is where I think putting it on white paper first just makes it look even prettier. It really brings out all those colors and how it blended. So isn't that fun? It is a fun technique. Penny, I hope that you watch later. She's one of the people who asked me to do this, so I hope she's able to check that out. Okay, so that was black in the center, magenta madness, and then daffodil delight around it. And then I just blew like petals going out, and it kind of bled the color. So that's how I did this one. Okay, and then I just added some of these sticky adhesive, the black hexagons on there, because I have the dies in like 4 different sizes of hexagon. I cut out a hexagon like frame, and they're just stamped I miss your face. So I'll show you what I do with this one later, but I'm not going to make one with it right now, because right now I'm focusing on showing you how to do these techniques. Okay, now one technique also that I think is really fun is just adding whatever you've colored onto adhesive sheets, or not adhesive sheets, are dimensional sheets. We actually have whole sheets of dimension. And I'll show you one of these I did because I tried to do this technique. So I'm going to kind of combine the two, but I am going to show you if you want to make little, what looks like roses, like rows of roses. Hey, Dad. That's the one more technique I'll kind of show you here. And this one I used red and yellow, and then I even brought in brown, and that turned out fun. And then I actually did heat emboss some gold leaves on there, just so that you get the picture of it looks like little roses in the background. And then I embossed First of All You're Amazing in gold as well on this. So again, pretty easy. But let me show you what colors was I going to use for the flowers. I'm going to use Melon Mambo, but then I'm also going to use, and you may think, what, browns? That'll be a little weird, but you'll see how fun it is to use these different colors, because here I did mix, I don't know if it was the cinnamon color, but I mixed a brown rose in there, and it still turned out pretty. So this to me is definitely maybe one of the most challenging ones, because you want to keep it kind of in a circle like a rose. Okay, and I kind of just do one at a time. And here you want to start, you squeeze your handle of your aqua painter, and you want to squeeze towards the outside of the rosette here. And then again, you can use just your breath, or you can use the straw, and you want to blow towards the center so the center stays dark. I'll do that again here. All right, so there's kind of a brownish one. We'll do, this is Dark Melon Mambo. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle either. They're just kind of looking, you want basic rose looking shape. So again, I'm letting And I'm being pretty liberal with my ink. And I'm trying to continuously blow to the inside. And again, every time you do it, it looks different. So there's no rhyme or reason. This one's a really light. This is one of our, it's the 100, but I might actually go a little darker here. I'm going to switch to, I think this is the dark pale papaya. That was a little bit too light. Okay, so I'm dropping the alcohol again pretty liberally around the outside edge. See, that one bled a little bit too much into that rose. So you have to be careful. And that one is a really light rosette, but it's fine. And then I'll just go, I'll use those same 3 colors, but use them in a different. Big Melon Mambo one. And again, I'm going to squeeze my handle. Be generous around the outside edge. Still blowing towards the inside. And when you do use the straw, you might get a little spit on yours too, which is fine. Let's use that pale papaya. And you know, in the pale papaya one, because it's so light, I might even put a little bit of a dot of Melon Mambo in there and let that. All right, dropping the alcohol around there again. I need to get a little bit on the, there. And then one more, and this is cinnamon cider, I think. I didn't, it's the light cinnamon cider. So don't say no to browns. They can look kind of cool as roses too. You see how fun this is? And then I'll show you if it messes up and then it doesn't, and you're like, this does not look like roses, just use it as a fun background then. Okay, so this one takes a little bit more energy. I don't know, a little bit more work because you want to concentrate it and keep it in the rosette, and you don't really want it to bleed too much. But it still looks really pretty. Now, like I said, if you're trying to do this rose look and then you're like, shoot, that doesn't look like roses. I don't like that for roses. Well, don't throw it away. Still use it. And again, here's my rose card. And again, they don't look exactly like roses, but then when I did heat embossed some gold leaves, it makes it look a little bit more like flowers, doesn't it? But I'll show you real quick. One that I kind of tried to do like flowers, and then I was like, I didn't really like how it turned out, but I'm still gonna use it, right? So I'm not gonna use it in the rose, I'm not gonna use it as the roses, but I'm gonna still use this piece of paper, and I'm gonna cut it out. So now I'm showing you kind of how I used pieces that I put onto our dimensional sheets now, okay? Because what's really cool about our die cutting machine, you guys are gonna just fall in love with this more and more. So our dimensional sheets come in this shape. It's 4 1/4 by 4 1/2, okay? And both sides peel off, but you're gonna peel off one side, and I'm gonna stick it down over the whole thing, the whole sheet, okay? And I'm just gonna flatten it down, okay? So now it's right on a dimensional sheet, so it's going to have dimension to it, because now when I cut through it, and you actually can run this through your big shot or your die cutting machine, which is awesome. I can use pieces of this, and I'll show you. So here's my leftover adhesive sheets from the hexagons that I cut out. Here's some of my leftover, so I still have plenty left of, I could make another 1 or 2 cards of this Love Changes Everything card with this. I thought blended a little bit, like way too much. I think I put too much alcohol in it, but look at how cool the hearts still look cut out in those blended colors. Still looks so pretty. Okay, so the adhesive sheets are really cool. I'm gonna use hearts now with this. Now look, this hangs over. Now if that bugs you and you want to know exactly where you're cutting, just trim that off, because those pieces, you could use as little strips, or you can just throw them away. And then the rest of it will be sticky. So now this whole thing is on a dimensional sheet. It'll be sticky, and you can use this. And I'm going to use, I was looking for my heart, not my heart, but a heart die that I had from this suite. There is a heart die that matches with this suite. And I wanted to let you know that now it's February, this suite is available as well. So I will show you the numbers to this cool paper. There's a stamp set that has the hands that say I love you and dies that say you matter. They're really cool. And those are available to get now. There is a little heart die that goes with it, but I'm not exactly sure where that is right now. So I'm gonna find a different heart die. And I'm just gonna find different places where I see like some of these colors. So I've got magenta, Highland Heather, and Blackberry Bliss in this one. And I'm gonna take a heart die. Hopefully I can find a small enough one. Sure. And I'm gonna run it right through my Big Boss. And look at that, running right through my Big Boss. I can cut out these hearts. Okay, so I'm using one from a different heart die set. They have a little scalp to them, but that's even more fun. Okay, so I can just put these hearts wherever I want. I could make a half and half one with magenta, and it's kind of fun to have the dark center in there. And I'm gonna cut out at least 4 or 5 of these. And it will cut right through it because the dimensional sheets are pretty squishy. So they work. And cut it right out. I definitely want some of the Magenta Madness because I'm using Magenta Madness paper. So I've got 4. We'll do a couple more. And we'll see which ones I like. There's one with all of them. I think I found a spot where I can get all 3 of the colors cut out. All right, so sorry, I should have like theme song music going on or something. Okay, so I may not use all of these. And look at that, I still have plenty. I could make another card, maybe 2 with the leftover space here. So I used a die, a heart die, to just cut right through that dimensional sheet. And what's really cool about this now is, and I've already got some of the pieces already done for you because I know I'm mainly just trying to show you this technique and why it's so cool. Because now I can make a little banner of hearts. This one has like all of the colors kind of intertwined. I think I like this row of hearts. So I think I need only 5. That one will go to the side. Now to add a little bit more dimension to it, because again, our Big Boss and our Mini Boss, our die cutting machines are awesome because this I ran through that macrame embossing folder. So that just adds a layer of some dimension to it already when you emboss with your dry embossing folders. I'm going to put some dimensionals on that. So these are our dimensionals, but that's the cool thing about our dimensional sheets is you can make a sticker kind of dimensional out of anything, and then you can die cut it. So it is fun to do with that alcohol technique. Okay, so this is Magenta Madness, this color. Now on this, I'm going to do a little bit of blending and add just a fun, this is Coastal Cabana. So I'm using all purples and pinks, but I'm going to actually take my Coastal Cabana ink and blending brush, and I'm just going to do a little blend of color behind, kind of like a sky a faint sky behind there. And you'll see how that will add just a fun little pop of color to it. But nothing super obvious. Okay, and I'm going to add those flowers on later. I'll show you how we can get those all together, these 5 hearts. But I wanted to leave room for stamping a sentiment. So happy, I think the so happy to know you I like. And then we'll emboss a real subtle embossing thing over it. Okay, so I'm going to stamp in black. So happy to know you. I'm going to stamp that at the bottom. The totally clear, our photopolymer stamps are nice because you can see right where you're stamping. So I can get that straight on there. So happy to know you. Okay, now I'm going to run this through one of our embossing folders. I'm going to use this subtle tasteful texture one because that's not too, it's not going to mess up my words too much. So I'm going to run this through. You guys still following along? You having fun? I think my husband just called for my oldest. My high school son is going to go over with my husband and help snow plow my sister-in-law's driveway. My brother John has been gone for almost a whole month and he's not coming home till Friday, so we've been trying to have them over for dinner and trying to help take care of them while my brother's gone. And then this winter storm came. so isn't that fun? You can still see So Happy to Know You just fine, but it just added that subtle texture. And can you see that Coastal Cabana in there just a little bit? Okay, so I think since I've already popped those up and I'm popping those up with dimensionals, I'm just going to use my Seal Plus, some in the middle, in all the corners of this piece. We'll tape that down. And this is a piece, this border, don't you love the little dots cut out of there? Is from the Ornate border dies. They really are pretty dies. So there's just a little border of white on there. And then we can pop up these hearts. But before we do that, I'm just gonna string a little bit of ribbon. So I'm gonna tie a little bow to actually make it look like a little banner. And this, I'll tell you, I was inspired by one of our Stampin' Up! Artisans, Tammy Wilson. She's one of my favorite artisans. I think this is her 2nd or 3rd year being an artisan now. And everything she makes is amazing. So that's where I'm so happy that I can inspire you guys to create things, but you know, everybody gets their inspiration from somewhere. Pinterest is a great place to go for inspiration when you get a new stamp set. So I'm going to put these up in the corners. Okay. I want it to go down a little bit, just like a banner would. We'll tie, see if I can tie the bow. That was maybe a little bit too much leeway. I don't want it to sink down too much. No, that's not enough. Third time's a charm. I just don't want to waste the twine either. So seeing if I can just do this. There we go. Third time's a charm. We'll trim that. Where'd my scissors go? Trim that bow off. Get another glue dot on here. put that in the other corner. So I'm trying to get it right under the knot. Twine is pretty thin. Hey, Teresa. We've been having fun with the alcohol technique. I think you've done that before. I'll go back and review for those of you who missed. And sometimes those of you who watch on replay too, only watch the fun parts. I know how that goes. All right, so I have this little banner of twine down there with glue dots. And now I can add the hearts that to kind of look like they're hanging. Still want to make sure that I'm going to get them all to fit. Ooh, yeah, I was only going to use. I only need 5. All right, so I'm going to do, now because I put these on dimensional sheets, I can just peel off the back and they're already sticky dimensionals. That is a pretty awesome thing. All right, because then the whole thing is sticky. What order did I want these in? This one has all 3 colors, so I think I wanted it in that order. So put this corner one, try to get the bow. I don't want it to cover up the bow. And isn't that fun? So that's like a couple different techniques all together. So just peeling that off, sticking down those hearts, and then that center one. Add that one right in the middle. So happy to know you. And it's a little banner of hearts. And they have dimension to them already because they're on those dimensional sheets. See, isn't that pretty? So like I said, if you feel like you try the rosette, try to make them look like roses and it doesn't work the way you want it to, just cut them out in pieces and you can use them for something else. Don't throw away your piece, use them for something. You should be able to find a way. Isn't that so pretty? Love. Love, 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 love. And hearts, it doesn't have to be February 14th and Valentine's Day. You can send love to anyone, anytime. Send love to friends. A So Happy to Know You card with hearts. There's a lot of people I love deeply. And some of them are you guys. I love you guys. Okay, so that's putting it on a dimensional sheet. And I kind of showed you how to make the rosettes. So if your roses turn out well, you can just use that as a big background. After it's completely dried, then I used the Versamark and stamped some leaves on there and the gold embossing powder. So that is another way to add, make it look a little bit more like flowers. Because on the vellum, you can use your heat embossing powder. Okay. But here's my other 2. So those were hearts. These were smaller hearts. Here's the same thing on dimensional sheets, but with the hexagons. So lots of different ways to use that with whatever dies you have, but put them on dimensional sheets. Fun, fun, fun. Do you have a favorite? I don't know. It looks so nice and clean when it's on white too, but that pop of pink is really pretty too. Hard to choose, hard to choose. Okay, so flowers. I showed you how to make flowers and blend the colors using a straw. Sometimes your vellum will want to bend a little bit, but when you tape it on white paper, it should fix that. Everybody's home here too, Teresa. It's full house. It's one of those days, and the boys just had chocolate chip pancakes, and then I made them hot chocolate too. They're getting spoiled. Okay, so that's a little bit with the alcohol technique. Now, if that sounded overwhelming, thank you, Deb. Thank you, guys. Now, if that feels overwhelming to you and you don't want to buy alcohol, the isopropyl alcohol, there are some really quick ways to make similar cards and just cheat when we've got really cool paper. Okay, so we've got designer paper in our annual catalog that looks, and it's an artist, a painter actually did the alcohol technique, and then they just printed it onto designer paper for us. So we have this awesome designer paper that already looks like the alcohol technique, and it even has a little gold foil in it. So if you like those looks, just get our designer paper, and that's way easier because then you can cut it up into different shapes or whatever and add different elements and just a pop of a saying or a message or something, and you can do kind of the same thing but without all the work. And that comes from, I wanted to show you in our annual catalog on page 97. It matches with the artistically inked bundle, and it goes with, so it's this Expressions in Ink, the 12 by 12 paper. So it's specialty designer paper. I'll show you it real quick because it really is gorgeous paper. Okay, so some of it's focused on like one color, and then it's got some gold foil on the other side. These are really pretty designs. I love the deep greens, and then they made these look like roses. And again, the artist used the alcohol technique for this, to make these look like flowers. Ooh, isn't that so pretty? I know I've shown this to you a long time ago, but if you didn't get it the first time, you should get this paper. It's so pretty. So this is just the same as all the stuff I showed you, the alcohol technique, but the artists from Stampin' Up! Did the work for us, and you can just cut it out and use it on your cards. And they really are gorgeous, gorgeous papers. I love them. So that is the artistically inked designer paper that you could use for that same thing. Now I was going to show you, because the paper in this Abstract Beauty is just so pretty. Go back to a cute little fun fold that I showed when I showed you this stamp set, this artistically inked stamp set, and the paper. This is a fun fold that you can use with any stamp set. So I'll show you this fun fold real quick. And I think this is the last card I have to show you. Oh man, I did have more to show you. See, time just flies by when you're having fun. Okay, so this is that fun Abstract Beauty paper, and same concept, this fun fold with all that paper and the fun different dies that we've got. And then there's designer paper on this little popped out piece. So what a fun card to give to somebody and be a little bit different. But again, I love fun folds that are easy. So I'm going to show you how easy these are. Let me move all my examples of my alcohol ink. Okay, so I'm using different paper this time. I'm going to try to make this fast. One is exactly a half of a sheet. So this is my thick white. A half a sheet of thick white cardstock. So just your regular card base. So you can remember that, right? That's easy. Your regular card base, scored at 4 1/4. And then this piece is actually 8 inches. So you just trim off a little bit off of the 8 side, and then 5 1/4 because it's going to fit right inside the card. So on the 8-inch side, when you've got it out 8 inches in length, you're going to score it at 4 inches and 6. So 4 and 6. So this is another thing I love about how easy the dimensions are. So you've got 2-inch pieces there then. Okay, so you fold it once in half, and then you fold it over this way, back. And then when you tape this part on the inside of your card, this is the piece that will just kind of pop in and out. So pretty easy scoring and cutting. So again, this is 5 1/4 by 8 inches, and then you just score it at 4 and 6 inches. And if I could find my scoring tool, where'd it go? I'll just take out my Pampered Chef one. Yes, Pampered Chef rubber scrapers are also wonderful craft tools. And when after you score your card, I've learned, I don't think it really matters too much, but that you cover up the hump part of the score when you fold it over is the best way to fold it. Okay, so this now can be centered because this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, and so it can go right in the center of the card. However, I'm not going to do that yet just because I might stamp on the inside of the card, so just hang on. Now to the front of the card, I'm going to end up cutting out the center, so I don't want to put any tape on the middle of my card here. I'm just going to tape around the edges. All right? And you'll see what I mean. And I think I'm going to use, I used the hexagon for this one, which looks cool. I like the hexagon, but maybe just to show you a little bit something different. So I'm going to center this on the front of my card. Okay, and then I'm going to cut out with the biggest circle. If I can find the biggest circle, it might be over. Oh, here it is. I'm going to cut out with the biggest circle out of the front of my card here. So it will cut out a white piece and the designer paper too. And I'm actually going to cut it out from the inside so that white piece is nice and clean. So I'm going to cut that out with my Big Shot right now, out of the front. And try to keep it as center as you can, but if it goes a little off, it's fine. No one will mind. And you're going to line it up later, so it doesn't matter. Okay, since I didn't add any adhesive in the center, you can pull those apart and you've cut out a designer piece and a white piece at the same time then. Okay? Now if I wanted to make this the centerpiece, I could actually use one of my smaller circles and cut that out of here, which I think I'm going to do. See if I can get a saying that will fit in there. And this is where you start really having fun. Man, it's really blizzardy out there, guys. Hope you're staying warm. I'm staying warm in here. I'm thanking the Lord for heat and all the things he gives us. Okay, so this I can use as a frame somewhere else at some point in a different card. This I'm gonna stamp and I can add it and then matte it, and that will look really cool. Since that's the opposite side of the designer paper, I think that'll look really cool on this flap, okay? And this is always the hardest part too. Like which side to use, because these are the two flaps then. So you want to take your designer paper, and because these flaps that we've scored are 2 inches by 5 1/4. Now these pieces of designer paper are 1 3/4, so it'll fit inside that 2 inch by 5 inches. Okay, so should I do the green and the pink, or should I do the gold polka dots? I think I like the pink, even though I hate to cover up the gold polka dots. The gold polka dots are so cute. That has a little foil on it, so I could do that. I don't know, but I kind of like the ombre look. I don't know, what do you girls think? Which side should I use? I think I do like the pink and the green, just because that really does match the front of the card there. I know there's a little bit of delay when you guys try to respond, so sometimes I don't see your response till after I've already made my decision. So I hope that it goes along with, I hope you like the pink. Good idea, girls. Pink and the green. Pink and white polka dots. And again, these pieces are 1 3/4 by 5 inches. Did I get that on straight? I don't know. It's mostly straight. All right. Aren't those colors pretty together? I really like them. If you wanted to get really fancy, you could take out some of your background pieces. Okay, so I've got some of these odd-shaped background. See all of these pieces we've got? Lots of different just watercolored swooshes, kind of. Now this is Blushing Bride, so find my Blushing Bride. Of course, when I look for a color, I've got so many other colors that I can find. I just found a birthday card for a friend that I didn't give to someone in my mess. Oh, you guys. I really need to clean in my Stampin' Up! Room here. I don't know, Petal Pink might be a little bit too light. Let me see what that looks like. I'm gonna try Petal Pink, but I think it's a little bit too orangey. Yeah. Where? Well, when all else fails, I can't find my pad, but I can find my marker. I would rather just use my ink pad, but you know, this will work. That's definitely the better match for color. Let me look for 2 more seconds here. What's your favorite thing about blizzards and snowstorms? Go, while I tell me some of your favorite things. I know some of you can't stand the snow and you can't wait for spring, but if you had to say something you like about wintertime, what's one thing you like about wintertime? I do like hot chocolate. I like baking cookies. Because they're not healthy things for me, but they still make me happy. See, Teresa, you said the gold polka dots, and that came out way too late. You like hot cocoa, Laura? I do like hot cocoa too. It's so nice. Where in the world did my Blushing Bride go? Seriously, to the side of me, I have like multiple colors. Where? I've got Pale Papaya, Calypso Coral, Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, Gorgeous Grape, Soft Suede, Cool Party, Rich Razzleberry, Cool Party, Shaded Spruce, Just Jade, Polished Pink. Where is my Blushing Bride? First world problems. Darn it, that makes me really sad that I can't find that. Okay, well, that's just Jade. We'll do that first, and maybe somewhere magically as I'm stamping, God will bring out the Blushing Bride stamp ink. Okay, so just Jade. I did just list that as one that I had. We'll use this thinner little blob. So this is fun because you can almost make your own designer paper with all these little smooshes. So I'm going to stamp off and then stamp it again, just so it's not so dark in that Just Jade. Stamp off. Stamp off. That's why I didn't tape this down in my card yet. Man, I guess I'm gonna have to use my marker. It didn't magically show up for me. All right, so this isn't gonna look perfect, but it'll be okay. Because we're gonna get the stripy look of the marker rather than a nice printed look when you're using your, this is why typically I do not use markers to color some bold image, especially on the photopolymer. The photopolymer ones just don't color quite as well with our markers. But we're just gonna have to grin and bear it, guys. Grin and bear it together. And we'll pretend that we wanted that little stripy look. You know, with abstract beauty, it's even more abstract. We're getting a print. Ooh, you know what I could do? I'm just getting smart here. I could stamp. Oh, this is fun. Guys, are you still here? This is going to be exciting. I just thought of something I can do with these, especially since I've got this stripy thing going on. I'm coloring it up with my Blushing Bride. But then I'm also going to take one of my patterns, because these all have some fun patterns. So I'm taking, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like little tiny rainbows. Hey, Chris. And I'm going to stamp that little pattern on there, and we'll see what we get here. And then I'll stamp it down. Okay, I guess that works out a little bit better when it is a little bit more thick of an image. But you can see the pattern in there a little bit. That's called the kissing technique. When you want to ink up a pattern on a bold image. You're stamping on a stamp pretty much to get that image. Now, if I could only find, really wish I could find my pink. Oh, look at this. You see how that is scribbled through? Let's try that. See, we're gonna do one more. And I'm actually going to scribble like that shows. I don't think it'll hurt it if I do it really lightly with like my paper piercer and scribble a line through it. Because then it'll be like, oh, look, that's like matching the designer paper. We're getting really fancy. I wasn't going to do all of this, guys. So I hope you're having fun. This is Experiment 501 with Bethany. Okay, so now I'm going to take my paper piercer and scribble a line through it. And then we'll stamp one more. And look at that. That little scribbled line kind of looks like on the designer paper. That's pretty cool. All right, I like it. Okay, so now, because I added those little blobs on there, it really does kind of match. It matches our designer paper, our card font, everything. How fun is that? Now that I've stamped on the inside a little bit, now I can tape this down. I'm going to tape in the middle. I think this is close to out here. I got ink all over my... You're not stamping if you don't get ink all over your fingers, right? Okay, so now I'm going, because I cut this at 5 1/4, it should fit right inside the height of my card. And there should be a little bit of a space on both sides, because after I scored it at 4 and 6, it should be 4 inches by 5. Okay, so this is the little fold flap that goes in there, and sorry that took me so much time because I couldn't find my blushing bride. This generally takes a little bit less time. Okay, now the fun of adding this, because yeah, you don't want that to show really. What we're gonna do is add this, pop it right back up into where I cut the front. But because I don't want too much adhesive on here, I'm gonna fold it over just like where it will be. And you just want to put tape on this part. You don't want to tape it over here because then it's going to close it shut. Okay, so you only want adhesive on this part. Okay, so I'm going to be heavy on my adhesive on my Seal Plus in all that space over there. Okay, and then while it's still closed and I've got that adhesive on, I'm going to place this down so it fits right in the center. Line that up with the circle. Okay. How fun is that? And then we could add a sentiment in here that will be centered in there. And then it pops out like that. So you can have a sentiment in here and a sentiment on the inside of your card. So that's just like I did here. This calls for a celebration. And then I did add a little bit of a gold foil hexagon on the outside. This calls for a celebration. On the inside says, hello, beautiful. There. Isn't that fun? And the one that I made a long time ago with the artistically inked, I added even a flower out here and had happy birthday on the front. And then on the inside, a little message. It's your time to be remembered, to feel appreciated, and to know you're celebrated. Isn't that fun? It's a fun, different fold, but it really isn't too hard. Yes, it takes a little bit more time than just a fast, easy card. But again, it's for somebody who you want to spend a little extra time for. So this one, I think I'll say, hello, beautiful. And we'll stamp that in black. Then that sentiment will really pop. Hello, beautiful. And maybe we'll use the Just Jade. And there's this little swirly thing, which is kind of fun. So it is fun to have these little shapes. I know not everybody is into like the abstract shapes and stuff, but I want to see how light that is. All right, I'm going to stamp off once and then twice and then stamp under the beautiful there. So it's kind of a lighter version. of the Just Jade. And then there's all these other kinds of, there's X's, there's little just hash marks that you could use. So in black, I'm gonna do those little, I'm gonna stamp those lines under Hello Beautiful. So you can just add a little bit more to your card, however much you want. I'll center that right on there. I can pop that up with a dimensional. Man, I told my boys not to get their hopes too high, but we're definitely getting plenty of snow here. They're all probably like, yes, maybe we'll have another snow day. I don't know about that. Hello Beautiful, so fun. And then let me just see in my Ephemera Pack. So this is where you can add a couple little extra elements if you get this extra pack that matches, because I can add a little arrow. And again, these just are die cut, so I could add a little gold arrow. Put some glue dots on there. So those are just fun and fast little elements that you can add onto your cards too. So I love that they've got gold foil on them. Here I'm just adding a couple glue dots on there. And that is fun to add a little bit of gold element on your main message there. And then that matches the little gold spots and everything. How cute. So fun. I could do a little bit more to it, and I might, but I won't keep you around to watch all of that. Now, if you wanted to do something similar to this, but way toned down and basic, so go back to beginner stamping. This is just a thick white card base with some designer paper on it, and I actually did cut it out of just the front of my card before I taped it down, right? And then I could just put a message on here and have your saying there and add a couple little flowers or something, but I could keep that really simple and fast. So that's back to super basic and easy card. And then if you wanted to do another simple card, like I showed you with some of the little blurbs of background, you know, I've got just watercolor background looking stamps, you could totally just make your own kind of designer paper look. You could even do some embossing and make it look real similar. You could do that on your envelopes too to make it match your paper. So many choices with this Abstract Beauty piece. I do love it. I hope you had fun watching me guys today. Stay warm. I hope you're having fun doing something with, I was going to add, because these are perfect, I was going to add some of these hexagons, because this is all those colors. You've got black, Blushing Bride, and the Just Jade. I think I'll add Just Jade ones on the outside here. Again, whenever I do, almost every time I do some kind of accent like this, I like doing them in threes. And these come in big, medium, and small. So I'll do a medium and then a small. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that fun how those little hexagons just add a little bit more to that card? And there you go. And then I could stamp a happy birthday saying on the inside or something like that. Okay, so that's the Fancy Fun fold. And then I showed you a bunch of different ways to use the alcohol ink. So blends markers are your friends. If you loved this technique, give me some hearts if you liked this alcohol ink technique. If you try this technique, please show me your cards that you make if you attempt to do this. But remember, It can be in any kind of either watercolor brush. Again, I used the aqua painters, an old aqua painter where you just put the alcohol in your end and you can drip it out of there. But remember, you have to, and I got this through Amazon, you have to have over 90% isopropyl alcohol to do that alcohol technique. But it really is fun to blend all different kinds of colors. So I will be posting in the next couple days the pictures of all my creations, so you can have some inspiration for what colors to use. Purples and pinks, you really can't go wrong, guys. You can have so many different colors. And here's some of the ones that I haven't put into cards yet, but, or here was my rose one. But here was the one I showed you making flowers. Roses, splotchy, more blended. There's so many different fun ways to use your alcohol, and all different colors look so good together. It can be so much fun. So if you like feeling like an artist, I would try the alcohol technique. It's fun. And I know my friend Becky, she had fun with it and made some bookmarks for people at the library. And so it is fun to even, don't think you have to just stick with cards. You could make all kinds of different things. You could make framed art and frame it. You know, something that looks like flowers, that could be a pretty frame for somebody in the room, or you know, a welcome your entry table or something like that. So it's more than cards, but I typically do mostly cards. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, remember, it's celebration time. Now, if you really love everything, the abstract in the Abstract Beauty suite, and that was an $80 suite, if you order $20 more worth of stuff and you get a $100 order, then you can get 2 things for free out of the celebration brochure. So all of these celebration items are only good for 1 more month. You can't buy them, but you can earn them for free. I'm about to make some cute things with this driving by. I've seen a lot of cute cars in the little van made with that. Oh, I also was going to show you this marble paper. Because if you like this alcohol kind of look, this marble paper is pretty similar too. And this is paper you can earn for free with a $50 order. And you could stamp and just use that as your background. And it's got kind of a more marble-like cabinet or countertop look, and then a really pretty marbled, like a deeper look. So there's that marble paper in a lot of different colors. The Otter Stamp Set, I'm telling you guys, there's lots of choices. With a $100 order, you could get this designer paper with a stamp set full of all kinds of sayings. And then if you would have a party with me, if you want to party sometime, we got to plan that soon. If you do, anytime in February, one of the host stamp sets that I do want to play with very soon, because man, it's already February, I can't believe it, is the Calming, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. The Calming Camellia stamp set. So pretty, so elegant. I love how it looks. I can't wait to play with it, hopefully soon. Or if you just have a huge order and you get to $300 in your order, this is just an extra free thing you will earn, because you make yourself hostess. Once you get to $150 in your order, you do make yourself hostess, and then you get 10% of free. So if you had a $150 order, you'd get $15 in free. You would get, you wouldn't get the host one yet because that's $300. But then you'd also, a $150 order, you'd get to choose 3 free celebration things. So, so don't forget celebration time, because it's just a fun time. That's when I bumped up my orders before I was a demonstrator, and I ordered a little bit more during this time so I could get some of those cute free things. And they're so much fun. So thank you for sticking around with me. I hope you did enjoy on your snowy day. Hope you're sipping on some coffee or hot chocolate, and maybe some of you bake cookies. I'm not sure what you're all doing, but usually Wednesday nights it's so busy because the kids come home, and then I have to make supper, and then we're running to church. But church stuff was already canceled tonight too, so we might just chill and watch a movie tonight with my family. So whatever you guys do, whether you're playing games, doing puzzles, reading books, by a fire, I hope you're all staying warm and continue to maybe spend some time making a card or two and send some love to someone, especially those, I mean, right now we're all shut in, right? I don't want to go anywhere in that snow. But send some love to someone you haven't seen in a while. A hug in the mail that says you love them, whether it's their birthday, just thinking of you, just a thank you for something nice they did. Send something in the mail to someone. So thank you guys. We'll see you next Wednesday. Talk to you later. Bye.